Welcome back to Vibe Recap. Today I will be showing you a 2021 crime/thriller movie titled, Malignant. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. 1993, at the Simeone Research Hospital. Dr. Florence Weaver is recording a video log with respect to somebody named Gabriel and how he has become more unstable. Weaver is then cautioned that Gabriel has broken free and is going out of control. A few clinic staff individuals are ruthlessly killed by Gabriel in a locked room. When Weaver and her colleagues are able to enter, they find the carcasses of the staff and afterward figure out how to get and confine Gabriel. We see a couple of child legs. Yet when Weaver tends to Gabriel,
"You've been a bad boy, Gabriel."
An impression is displayed of a bizarre animal shrieking at everybody. Gabriel also causes the lights to flicker and uses a radio to project his thoughts. Weaver then announces, now is the ideal time to remove the cancer. In the present day, Madison Mitchell is on her fourth pregnancy in the wake of experiencing 3 past unsuccessful labors. She lives in Seattle with her husband Derek, who is oppressive and useless. Derek blames Madison for the loss of the babies. And during a heated argument, he tosses her so hard against the wall that he cracks her head open and leaves an enormous opening in the wall. Derek rapidly attempts to apologize, however Madison secures herself in her room. Later that night, Madison rests while Derek hears a commotion in the family room. He finds a shadowy figure seeming to sit in front of the TV. However, when he turns on the lights, no one is there any longer. Derek is followed by the figure until it seems to cut him and afterward ruin his body. Madison goes down the stairs to see what is happening and she tracks down Derek's body. The dark figure then appears, seems to pursue Madison through the house until she gets knocked unconscious. Paramedics and specialists come upon the Mitchell house and take Madison to the emergency clinic. She is met by her sister, Sydney Lake, who tells her that she was attacked, Derek is dead, and what's more terrible is that she has lost her child again. Madison wails in agony. Madison's room is later visited by Detective Kakoa Shaw, who addresses Sydney. She lets Shaw know that Derek kept her far from Madison, so she never knew that he was so oppressive to her or that Madison experienced past unnatural birth cycles. Shaw's partner Detective Regina Moss thinks that Madison killed Derek herself for all the maltreatment. After 14 days, Madison gets back and attempts to restore her life once again. She hears noises and sees what resembles a shadowy figure outside in the city from her window. When Sydney comes to visit later, Madison lets her something know that she never knew. Before Sydney was conceived, Madison was adopted by Mr. and Mrs. Lake when she was around 9 years of age. An anonymous lady, Jean Louisa Kelly, is acting as a tour guide for a group of people checking an underground exhibit. When the group leaves, the woman is left alone and is followed by the figure. He goes after her and later carries her to a storage room where he keeps her tied up. Around evening time, Dr. Weaver is in her home where she feels an unnatural presence. In the meantime, Madison attempts to do laundry. However, she is frightened when she sees what resembles Weaver shouting at her inquiring as to why she is in her home. Madison then sees the figure moving toward Weaver. Madison stays frozen completely still while she observes the figure drawing nearer to Weaver, and through a staticky TV, he expresses the words, "It's time to cut out the cancer." Weaver knows it's Gabriel, and he proceeds to get a pointy trophy to stab Weaver to death. Shaw and Moss later go to Weaver's home and explore the crime location, finding a picture of a young girl named Emily May and then taking Weaver's patient records as proof. Dr. Victor Fields, a previous partner of Weaver's, hears about her demise and is mortified by the conditions. As Fields settles in for bed, he is followed by Gabriel as well. Madison tries going to bed, however sees Fields in the bed next to her as Gabriel takes his weapon and proceeds to gruesomely stab Field in the face and neck. Madison and Sydney go to Shaw and Moss with a depiction of her vision. They find the apartment complex, but Shaw and Moss are forced to go knocking on all the doors on the top floor until they tracks down Fields' room and find his corpse. At the point when they return to the station, Madison attempts to identify the killer, but can only come up with immense facial depiction. She goes to the restroom and gets a call from an unknown number. It is Gabriel addressing her. Let Madison know that her real name is Emily. Madison tends to Gabriel by name, meaning she does remember him. Madison and Sydney go to the home of their mom Jean, who becomes mortified when Madison raises Gabriel. She gives the ladies a videotape of Madison as a child, who appears to be talking to Gabriel as though he were an imaginary friend. Another tape shows Madison on Christmas conversing with Gabriel on the telephone and asking him not to kill child Sydney. Shaw does more investigation into Weaver's work and learns of another colleague, Dr. John Gregory, associated with procedures with Gabriel. Sure enough, Madison sees herself in Gregory's home not long before Gabriel gets to him. Shaw tracks down Gregory's location and attempts to find him, however he ends up too late of no return and discovers Gregory's corpse in a bathtub full of blood. Madison actually winds up seeing the scene in the washroom as Shaw enters, and attempts to warn him as Gabriel shows up. He almost kills Shaw, however he takes shots at Gabriel, who continues to escape through the emergency exit. Shaw pursues him and winds up in a dark alley where Gabriel almost gets him again, but the villain end up escaping. Shaw and Moss meet with Madison and Sydney again, in addition to a hypnotherapist, as they attempt to get Madison to recollect her childhood experience with Gabriel. They know now that Weaver and her team had Madison, or Emily, as a case study. Madison remembers that Gabriel would speak to her as a child and do terrible things that she would get faulted for, such as putting his finger through a cake or even going as far as to get Madison to hold a knife and nearly kill her adoptive parents.
Madison!
Cut her.
Madison starts freaking out, saying that Gabriel was continuously making her take the blame, but she snapped out of it. Moments later, the captured woman breaks free from her bonds, however as she tries walking away, she falls through the floor and lands in Madison's living room. The lady is taken to the medical clinic, and Madison is arrested. Shaw and Moss interrogate Madison, where she gets angered at the accusations to the point where she yells and causes all the lights to break. Shaw's phone then rings, and Gabriel's voice speaks to insult them. Sydney gathers whatever is possible on the Simeon Hospital and goes out to find the spot is presently a neglected building. She breaks in and manages to find tapes on Emily May. She brings them home so she and Jean can watch. They discover that Madison's natural mother, Serena May, had given up her child to the clinic since she was 15 and they were the product of rape, which Jean didn't know about since the hospital told her that Madison's mom passed on. They see Weaver doing a test with Madison as she says that Gabriel addresses her, and the camera pans over to reveal the truth. Gabriel is a previously conjoined parasitic twin, much the same as a teratoma growth toward the rear of Madison's head. Weaver and her group surgically removed Gabriel from her body, but fearing that they could unintentionally kill Madison, they took only as much as they could while the rest of Gabriel stayed dormant in her head. The dreams that Madison had seen were Gabriel projecting pictures into her brain that made her think she was residing normally in her home, when in all actuality, he was assuming control over her body and utilizing it to do the killings. At the point when Derek crushes Madison's head against the wall, that brought Gabriel back, and makes sense of why Madison generally awakens with her head draining subsequent to seeing what Gabriel did. Madison is in a jail cell with other women, who rapidly bully her, and two of them start to attack her. Gabriel continues to assume control over, uncovering his frightful face from the rear of Madison's head. Gabriel butchers all the women in the cell and breaks free when a watchman drops by to stop him. He rampages through the station and murders other guards. Sydney meets up with Shaw as the two of them understand that Gabriel is pursuing Serena at the emergency clinic. When they arrive, Gabriel begins manipulating the lights and kills one watchman by frying his pacemaker. Gabriel comes to Serena's room where he flings his weapon at Shaw's chest and wounds him, while Sydney attempts to prevent Gabriel from killing Serena. He throws a medical clinic bed at her and seems to crush her as she tries telling Madison that Gabriel was responsible for her miscarriages, as he was feeding off the fetuses to recover his power. Gabriel shoots Sydney in the head prior to pursuing Serena. She apologizes to Gabriel for giving him up, but he is unmoved and despite everything kills her, saying that it's her fault that he's a monster. Then Madison's voice gets down on saying that Gabriel was always a monster. It just so happens, she has now mastered his brain control abilities and constrained Gabriel to see what she needs, meaning he didn't kill Sydney or Serena. Madison regains control of her psyche and body and makes a prison for Gabriel to be trapped in, never to allow him to hurt anybody ever again. All he can do is scream in futility from behind bars. Madison helps take the bed off Sydney and she embraces her, saying that she has forever been her true sister. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications if you like this video. And feel free to leave your suggestions for the next video.